Hello and welcome to episode 60. It's titled Automation based on a Jamiroquai song of the same name. My name is Dr. KK. I'm the Innovation Officer at Trinka and Inago, and I have with me Tony. Hi, Tony.
Hi, KK. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm sort of excited that there's a Jamiroquai reference in the title of the song, but I guess you're
Yeah,
not too
that,
happy about it.
that makes one of us. Great band, very talented. It's just never been a style of music I've ever got into.
Yeah, and we are calling this because we are talking a lot about automations in publishing workflows. We're talking about AI and everything. But before we start talking about it, Tony, please introduce yourself and the show.
Yeah, sure. This is PubShorts. Welcome, everyone. This is a regular episodic podcast that KK and I record where we talk about different aspects of technology, particularly AI, and how it's impacting on the research and research communication process. And you can find these episodes on Inago YouTube channel. Just look for the PubShorts playlist, and you'll see all 59 of the episodes that we recorded up to date. So press share and like and send us your ideas for future
Right.
topics.
Right. Tony, are you ready for the first item that we're going to talk about? It's a
I'm
sort of
always
a
ready. I was
hot,
born ready.
controversial item from a conference that you attended, the London Book Fair. So let me just get to the first article. It is from the Times Higher Education website. It's titled AI Search Summaries Cannibalize Academic Publishers' Web Traffic. So this is based on an LBF London Book Fair speech made by the OUP director John Campbell, mentioning that 19% of drops in terms of I think visiting people are visiting 19% of people are visiting it less, or what with the visitor numbers are less because of Google summaries, which provide AI summaries as well. But AI generated summaries are reducing, may not be accurate, and this also causes, as in the sense that because of the lack of accuracy, because people are not coming to the publisher's website, that in itself is a problem, and the lack of accuracy is a problem. So this is a problem that we need to measure, and there needs to be, I think, in terms of ensuring that at least accurate summaries are provided, there needs to be a steps put in place, right, in terms of ensuring accuracy, Tony. Yeah.
Yeah, again, I don't know I think he was talking about this thing called census OEP census impact, which provides metrics on research impacts
Yeah.
for funds. Um, in my thinking of it, was it because is that 90% drop of traffic because the AI summaries were poor or inaccurate, or was it because the AI summaries gave the author, the researcher, the reader everything they needed? They didn't need to go into the full text of the
So,
article.
so it's
It's kind of
it,
a,
it
well, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so what I understood from the article is that it is 19%, one short of 20%.
Yeah, 1 9, yeah,
Yeah,
19.
and people like you and me, I mean, we do this, I think, when we look for some sort of let's say validated scientific information, we start our journeys on Google, right? And on Google you get the AI generated summaries, and people end their journeys there. People are
Yeah,
not going to the actual article itself.
yeah,
So it
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
because of Google summaries. And I mean, this is not a new thing, but the AI generated summary by search engines like Google is
yeah.
decreasing traffic into the publishers and journals website. That's
Well, I kind of understand that
mhm.
in a sense, although you still need to go into the full text of the article to be able to reference it properly.
Yeah.
Um, but I think I personally believe there is an absolute role for AI generated summaries. We provide the AI summaries ourselves within two of our services, at least within Inago Read and within our peer review assistant. But the important thing is both of those services can come with human oversight, particularly PRA.
Hmm.
So we can generate a summary, but a human will go in and check the accuracy and veracity of that summary.
Right, right. So that is what I think. I would also like to reiterate that currently, at least. So see, the Google search is very, I guess, broad in the sense that it is not contained. The AI is not contained to access a bunch of different verified information. Whereas, as you mentioned in our peer review assistant, we are limiting the summarization to the article that is being read or reviewed. So that in itself is a huge step. But also there are engineering steps like using RAG and everything that can improve.
Yeah, of
But
course.
most importantly, human oversight is required, at least again in 2025, mid 2025. We are not yet sure that AI summaries can be as accurate as they want to be, so human oversight is essential.
Yeah,
And talking about large language models, Matthew Ingram writes in the Tomin Nexus, there are two related articles. The first one, What can we learn from an AI's thought processes? It's an interesting article. So it discusses the complexities of understanding AI's thought processes, and it highlights how models like ChatGPT and Claude are difficult to fully comprehend. And it references Anthropic's efforts to analyze AI behavior, which I'll open the article, the next article, and it raises concerns about AI's use in critical areas without full understanding and without human oversight, and compares AI's unpredictability to early scientific challenges and discusses potential AI reasoning processes in language models. So this is a long sort of an article, but it refers to a Claude article. So I'll ask you for your thoughts before I move to the Claude article. Tony,
Um,
yeah,
I, well, first of all, if this is the Matthew Ingram I'm thinking about, Matthew is a very Matthew Ingram is a very respected journalist who used to work for the Guardian. I don't know if it's the same chap. Um, uh,
is it?
I, I'm not sure. I don't reckon. I don't ever recall seeing a picture of Matthew Ingram, but there certainly was a Matthew Ingram who was a journalist. I'll look him up afterwards.
Okay.
I don't have a great deal to say apart from, I think there is a value in terms of understanding how AI generates its conclusions or its content, so we can then better train and develop and learn from those outcomes ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm just trying to find if I can find if this Matthew Ingram is the one that you're referring to.
I'll look him up after. It may be it's not an uncommon name, so it may
Right.
be the two Matthew Ingrams in this world.
Right. So he
It's
references
very
this.
well, very well written, so it
Right.
wouldn't surprise me.
Right. So this is the Claude article that is referenced, and it's titled "On the Biology of a Large Language Model." So the
Yeah,
writers compare language models to living organisms, showing the simple training can yield complex inner workings, which are difficult to comprehend. I mean, if you look at human biology or animal biology, it's very difficult for you to understand how things are
yeah,
happening the way they are happening. So they use attribution graphs and a replacement model to peek into the model's reasoning steps. As part of this sort of research, the article shares also several case studies from multi-step reasoning to planning in poetry to explain different model behaviors. It also discusses limitations,
haiku.
noting that these methods only capture part of the model's internal processes. So it's a fascinating read in combination, especially with the previous article. Any further thoughts on this, as especially if you look at all the things that are sort of listed here in different cards?
Oh, I love it whenever technology is anthropomorphized like this. Trying to compare it to a living being. It's kind of I think it's inevitable to show how AI is developing to draw those analogies with
Right.
a living organism.
Right. In the last episode, we talked about a research paper from India. Now we have a research paper from Pakistan. It's from the Pakistan Journal of Medical Sciences.
Yeah,
It is
yeah,
titled "The Inevitable Future of Peer Review: Human and AI Integrated Peer Review System." So the title is making things obvious. So it talks about AI integration into peer review and discusses the future of peer review.
yeah.
And eventually, it suggests that it's a short read. It suggests that an integrated peer review system using both human and AI reviewers can improve the efficiency and accuracy of peer review processes. I think, Tony, you and I have arrived at this conclusion at least in 25 of the 60 episodes of PubShorts. And that's probably why we are also
Yeah.
working on the Inago
Well,
peer review
what's
assist.
great here is great to see reviewers talking about it,
Yeah, right, right.
about what's important.
Yeah, and interestingly, this is the article itself, and I thought this was an interesting list. So, different AI software tools applicable to the peer review system. We start from Zero GPT, which detects AI, generated text, to Clarivate's reviewer locator. There is an Elsevier's eWise, identifying and recommending suitable peer reviewers based on Scopus data. Lots of interesting tools if somebody wants to research further into the whole landscape of AI assisted peer review. This is probably a good place to start
Well,
reading.
there's one important tool missing from all that, and that's Inago's peer review assistant. I
Yes.
realise it isn't actually formally available yet, but it
Yeah.
will do exactly that, provide AI-based review with human oversight all the other way around.
Right, and it'll hopefully come up as in will start to appear in such articles, maybe at the end of this year or the early next year, when people can access it and people will
If not sooner.
yeah. Right. Okay. So the next article is from Nature. It's a worldview article, and it's titled "Open Source AI Isn't Truly Open." And here's how researchers can reclaim the term. Interesting title itself. So it basically discusses the use or the misuse of the term open source. Open source originally, Tony, meant full transparency and sharing, which is being compromised. For example, models like those made by Facebook, the Llama models, for example, they do not disclose training data, and which is crucial to it being open. And this lack of transparency could limit scientific research and collaboration. And
Mm,
another interesting point that it makes is that the EU's 2024 AI Act might be influencing companies to misuse the open source label. Some companies are engaging in open washing by claiming openness about full transparency. And when I thought about it, a lot of these AI models that we are using, they are by for-profit companies, and obviously they cannot fully reveal everything on how they built the model and how the model was trained, I suppose, right?
mm. And it's like we in an earlier episode, KK, we talked about collaboration, and the importance of collaboration, things like Crossref, things like Cope. I wonder whether this is a line of travel for collaboration as well for the industry to collaborate in building its own uh, responsible open AIs. I mean, I think we're not there yet. I'm not even sure the conversations are taking place, but it does strike me as being a real opportunity for the industry to come together.
Watch out for this space. We have one scholarly kitchen article which is coming up, which is from my favorite, I think, favorite chef in the scholarly kitchen by Hasib Irfanullah. It is titled "Peer Review Has Lost Its Human Face." So what's next? So it is another sort of an opinion stash slash review of the existing peer review space. So Hasib discusses reflections like reviewer fatigue is a problem. Uh, there is a compliance issue in peer review. Researchers can get torn between different roles, including authorship and reviewership. The industry does not want to corrupt peer reviewers' selfless acts with monetary incentives. We have talked about incentives in previous episodes of PubShorts. And peer review can undermine the author's personal research journey. They have peer reviewers have other responsibilities, but are not responsible for any dark side of publishing. It's basically shifting the onus of research integrity detection from the peer reviewers to other stakeholders like the publishers, and it questions whether peer review is overrated. And so one more reflection: publishing industry needs disruptions in peer review, and mostly in the form of AI assisted peer review and with human oversight. I think that's what he's hinting at. So once you've read the article, what are your thoughts, Tony? Many of these things we have talked about it, I guess.
Oh, he's an extraordinarily astute writer, and I a lot of time for his writing. I really urge readers to look at his other articles on the scholarly kitchen.
Yeah.
Um, again, it for me kind of it's good to be openly critical about peer review, to highlight what it is able to do and where those weak links are. I think, and he's done a very good job in summarising kind of what the challenges are for the review. And the thing is, let's be honest, these aren't new challenges. These are challenges which have existed, ever since peer review has existed.
Right.
Just the scale of the problem is obviously a lot greater now with the number of requests that reviewers are getting. But as he rightly said, where does the responsibility lie? Is it with the research organisation? Is it with the publisher? Is it with the author? I would argue it's every one of those stages
Right.
is responsible for ensuring the veracity and the integrity of the peer review process.
Yeah.
We'll do what we can with tools like Inago Peer Review Assistant to support that process, but ultimately, the industry has to be honest and address challenges within the peer review process that he has highlighted.
Yeah, I mean, I think his point is that it should not just be peer review or peer reviewers that should identify all of this. And I think the industry has moved on, and more, I think, responsibilities is being shifted towards publishers for better infrastructure and screening systems, as well as for
Yeah,
editors and
and I think
review.
screening systems. I think that's something I think we're going to see a lot more of in the next in the coming years. In the short term, are more tools to help the review process
Right.
and make it easier, make it more enjoyable, and hopefully make more reviewers want to do reviews because they're learning, they're seeing the latest papers that are coming through, understanding how it's impacting research, and being able to impact on that as well.
Right. And Tony, I'll move on to the last article. This is the last main article that we are covering. So it is from STM Publishing News. It is titled Clarivate Expands its academic AI platform, introducing agentic AI for research and learning. So the title is self-explanatory. This platform, the new edition, aims to boost productivity for researchers and students. Agentic AI includes AI agents for complex academic tasks. These agents can obviously reason, plan, and execute actions independently, partially at least beyond simple text generation. And the new tools like literature review and research intelligence are being introduced. And there is also an agent builder that allows custom AI tool development without coding skills, and community collaboration is encouraged for AI tool development. I mean, the AI agent builder is reminds me of another. We also have an AI agent or AI app builder called Trinka AI Studio, which is the backbone of many of our new products and applications. So very interesting that Clarivate is moving. Any other thoughts, Tony?
Oh, I think the fact that Clarivate is moving into the space it has some huge brands under its belt,
Yeah.
like ProQuest, for example. The fact that Clarivate is thinking this way just shows that you know they're thinking along the same lines as people like us and others around the importance of agentic networks.
Right, right, right. So, moving on to the first of the three quick hits that we have. The first one is an AI biology lab. It's titled AI Biology Lab Without Test Tubes Sooner Than You Think, says ARC's Patrick Su. So, this is obviously ARC Institute is changing biology research as per the article. It aims to speed up idea implementation in biology using tech, and it has developed Evo, a virtual lab with partners such as Nvidia. Evo predicts breast cancer mutation effects but isn't foolproof yet, and ARC believes in ambitious high risk science without the usual constraints. Well, AI labs are going to be a common thing, in my opinion, in the future. And, similarly, AI related tools are going to be common. And I guess every part of the industry needs to sort of embrace this trend and adopt automation for, improving and making things more efficient, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I suppose my only concern, I mean, I think you're absolutely right, and we've discussed this before. I think AI labs are going to be increasingly common and effective, and we've seen how they can be effective in certain life science areas, for example. It still, for me, though, highlights the importance of human oversight,
Right.
the importance of that oversight being adhere to.
Yeah.
I suppose my concern moving forward is if the AI labs are doing all the work, is whether humans are going to be able to do the oversight and whether they've got the skills to be able to manage it.
Well, we'll have to find solutions for that as well. How to integrate the human in the AI system rather than the other
Yeah,
way around, I
yeah,
suppose.
well, quite.
Okay, moving on to the second one. It is a news specifically. I think you mentioned that I would be very happy with it. So it is titled "One of my favorite AI tools is getting an iPhone app, and here's why you should install it." But the app that we are talking about is Notebook LM by Google. It's going mobile. I've been using Notebook LM a lot, especially for understanding and questioning and improving my own knowledge regard with long form documents like PDFs, as well as to sort of get through long form YouTube videos. So I don't know, Tony, have you used a Notebook LM at all? Have you
I'm
heard?
afraid I haven't, KK. No, I doubt your great knowledge on this.
Well, I don't know if I have great knowledge, but the thing that Notebook LM became famous for is that if you upload any sort of content to it, it can generate an audio overview, which is
Yeah.
basically two AI generated voices talking about it, just like how you and I are talking about news in this podcast.
So
And
how does the reader know that we're not two AIs talking to each other?
nobody
It's
knows that yet. But anyway, so this is an interesting development, especially if you're an iPhone user. I have an iPhone, but I don't use it too much because my primary environment or the ecosystem that I inhabit is, I guess, Windows and Android. But anyway, it's a good addition. And the last quick hit is a news article from Nature. Its title AI race is sorry in 2025 is tighter than ever before, and the title explains it. But in 2024, Tony, we saw a huge surge in small efficient AI models thanks to distillation and everything. And China's AI models are catching up with the rest of the world, especially United States. And the industry now produces most AI models. The industry is producing it, not the academicians, which is a partially an important sort of a trend which needs to be kept in check. open weight AI models like DeepSeek are gaining popularity. That's another thing. So things are fast changing, and China is leading the AI sort of the new AI revolution in the last maybe 6 months, 12 months or so. So China is disrupting as always, and I don't know what the future holds, but at least more innovation from can be expected from
Yeah,
China at least. Yeah.
absolutely. And if I can make a plug here for our colleagues at Charlesworth, they provide a service called China Expert Services, where they can advise pretty much any type of organization, whether you're a publisher, a research organization, anyone that's looking to do business in China to try and create brands or brand values in China. They've certainly got the expertise, the skills, and the know-how to help organizations to do that.
And the publishers in China are struggling with the development of or the launch of DeepSeek because a lot of researchers are using it instead of using other services that the publishers offer. So in
Sure.
such cases, strategic changes might be required, and that's exactly what Charles Firth
And that's
Expert Service.
exactly what
Yeah,
Charles do,
right.
helping to plan your strategy.
Right, excellent. So that brings us probably to the end of our shortest episode, Tony. So this we have come to the end of it. So if let's say and the audience, maybe a publisher wants to know more about Charlesworth's author service or expert services, how can they find more about it? How can they find more about PubShots and you and me?
Okay, well, I gave a plug about PubShots at the beginning of the episode, but I can do that again. But first of all, if you want to find out more about Charlesworth and their expert services in China, just go to www.charlesworth-group.com, and that'll give you all the information you need regarding their services in China. As I said at the top of this episode, if you want to find out more about PubShorts, we've got all 60 episodes, including this one, on our playlist with the Inago channel on YouTube. And please press share or like, and send us ideas for future comments. And if you want to send us ideas for future suggestions for topics, you can contact either KK or me.
Yeah.
You can contact me either via tonyo@anaga.com or via our respective LinkedIn channels.
Excellent. Thank you, Tony, for saying all of that. And with that, again, we come to the end of episode 60, themed after a Jamiroquai song, which Tony is not too happy with, but that's
Oh,
fine.
I don't mind. It's just I can't like everything.
Right, right. And
You know,
until the next time, maybe I'll come back with something that you really really like, Tony. Until the next time, however, this is Dr. KK signing off on behalf of Tony and the rest of the team that helps us bringing such content to you. We will see you in the next one. Bye, Tony.
see you in the next one.